she wanted to be the strategic counterpart. And I said, but if you then say yes and act no, it's not going to work. So you were probably not clear enough. Maybe you're very clear from your perspective, but it didn't land. Straightforward. The subject of today's podcast episode for female leaders. So this is an interesting subject because I'm Dutch. And at least, well, what my Italian husband constantly says is, Susan, sometimes you're really, truly too straightforward. Now, it appears to be something Dutch, and I think I am straightforward Dutch times 2. So it's going to be an interesting episode. Let's say it like that. I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna give some examples in this episode why it can be so important to feel every now and then uncomfortable, straightforward. And I can also be uncomfortable, straightforward. Maybe you would not believe that, but it is true. Okay, I'll give you an example. There is this lady currently in my program, and she works in the communication team. And she has a manager, and because they're a very small team, they are changing into a more strategic level compared to, okay, can you make a leaflet? Okay, can you write this text? Okay, can you send out this email? So more an up level for the contribution of the team communications team. Now, then you have this management team. And the management team agrees that team communication needs to do this shift from just doing, asking whatever you ask, to a more strategic partner to the whole organization's nonprofit. And so they say, yes, we need to make that shift. Meanwhile, there is one person from that same management team that keeps on asking the freaking, so to speak, simple questions. And then on the same day, this can happen on the same day, they talk about it again because it doesn't go so well. Talk about it again. They say, okay, yes, we should stop doing like this. We should ask different people. There are other people to ask. So that's good, right? And then the same day, same evening, one of the managers, being part of the management team, sent my coachee an email. Can you do this? 2 hours later, she didn't respond. 2 hours later, a text, a WhatsApp message. Have you seen my email? Next morning, a screenshot of the email, again sent via WhatsApp. She didn't respond. Working hours again, a phone call. Have you seen my email? Can you respond, please? I don't even think the word please was there. So that is the contradiction she was in. And it's very, she finds it very difficult to say no, to stick to the plan, to the agreement. But if you also say one thing and then act in a different way, then it ain't going to change. It's never going to change. And she doesn't want to do all these little mini things anymore. She wants to be a communication person on a higher level, on a more strategic level. So that's a squeeze, right? And then she said, I've been trying this for so long now and it still doesn't work. And then the question that pops up in my head is, how straightforward were you? How clear were you? Because if you say yes also and act as a no, hey, you're not clear at all. You're giving different signals. And if you're a mom, what happens if you give your kid different signals? If you say no on one side and then act yes. Of course, the kid is going to take your full freaking hand too, if possible, because it feels the space. A kid feels, smells, experiences Even if it's like a nanomillimeter of space, it takes it. And the way it works for kids, it also works for managers, grown-ups in whatever position they're in. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's even like this, the higher the position, the more the more easy they take the space. I don't know if it's like that, but could be. So I asked her, so what do you want? First question, right? Well, and of course, it was clear what she wanted. She wanted to be the strategic counterpart. And I said, but if you then say yes and act no, it's not going to work. So you were probably not clear enough. You were not clear enough. And maybe you were very clear from your, and she's Dutch too. Maybe you're very clear from your perspective. But it didn't land. It didn't land on the other side of the meeting table or the Zoom screen. It didn't work. So you weren't clear enough. So of course, this is about boundaries, right? If it's for her, it's difficult to say no, and I know it's not only for her. It can be very difficult to protect, so to speak, your boundaries. And what to be able to set your boundaries. Of course, you need to know your boundaries. Now she knows her boundaries, but they're not integrated in her enough. So that is a thing that she works on right now. And second, yes, she knows what she has to do. She needs to be more clear. And in my perspective, it's me being Dutch and also me being me. Sometimes you just have to confront people. You just have to confront people. I had a manager once. I was responsible for sales. This manager was a company owner together with another person. With the three of us, we were the management. We formed a management team, and it was a bit of a weird construction, but the he was still managing the marketing teams, smaller team, but he was still doing it. And he asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said, "Well, I'm not a marketing person, but if I have good marketing people, I don't need to be a marketing expert. Just need to be clear about the vision and goals that we have." And I know I can be clear. Meanwhile, my manager he's still a marketing expert, but of course in a different, the company was been taken over right before I left. But he was constantly interfering with the way I managed, or I was leading, it's a better word, leading the marketing team, because he told them what to do exactly, and also within his time frame. And I want to motivate people from their own intrinsic, I don't know, I cannot find the English word, but intrinsic, motivate. I want to motivate people from the inside, because if you have people motivated from the inside, they think of their own, they make decisions, they feel energetic when something works, they think bigger. Well, whatever, I can make a whole list of advantages. So at a certain point, I guess I wasn't clear enough. So at a certain point, I gave him a choice. And I didn't say it in the most friendly way. I said it in the most clear way. Okay, here's the story. Either you take back the marketing team, or you let me do it and you stop interfering with the way I lead instead of manage. And as of that moment, he stopped. I knew it was difficult. I knew he was, how do you say, in I don't know if you have this saying in English, but if not, then you have learned now a Dutch saying. I knew he was biting his tongue. He was, every now and then I could see he was closing his mouth, and he was trying very hard, and I really appreciate it. And I respected him for doing, because he was a type of a micromanager, well, It wasn't always easy, let's say it in a nice way. But he did it. I was very clear. I left him no space. I gave him a choice. Choice is his. Either you take it back, fine, be my guest. I have enough work to do without a marketing team. Or you let me do it my way. You tell me the vision for the company. You're the company owner. You know what you want and what you don't want. I'm sales and marketing. So I know if that is your vision, I know where to lead both teams. That's it. And sometimes, I think often, we don't feel good about being so straightforward. We don't feel good about being so clear about things. And we believe we need like 100 words to explain something, but there is nothing to explain anymore. In this case, this guy had two options. What do you want? Lead, take back the marketing team, or leave it up to me? You tell me. Well, how many words were there? 15. It was very clear. I would say, if people don't listen, or if your vision is different from someone else, and even though you made an agreement on something together and this person is still acting different, first you ask yourself, and what do you do, huh? Because you can say no and then do yes. But you have to make things very clear. You don't have to be rude or nasty. You can be, according to me, you can be a bit confronting or leave the bit part away. But you gotta be clear. People need clearness. It's way easier to just listen to 15 words and then make a decision yourself, compared to an intro of 5 minutes and then after another 5 minutes pop the question. No. Be very clear. The more clear you are, the more straightforward you are, the easier it is for the other person to understand what you mean. And that is what you often need. Okay. Thank you for listening to this maybe straightforward episode, but hey, I'm Dutch, I'm me, and I love to be straightforward. Okay. Share if there is anybody you believe you could empower with this episode. Please share. The more women listen to this podcast, the better the world is going to be. Thank you.